Earlier, I spoke to the Deputy Prime Minister, Dominic Raab. I started by asking him about Jess Phillips' comments in the Commons. Let me put this to you that Jess Phillips said yesterday in the House.
Was the Prime Minister present at the event in his flat on the 13th of November? I assume he doesn't need other people to tell him whether he was there or not. Was he at the flat event listed in the report on the 13th of November?
He doesn't need the police to tell him that.
Well, he doesn't need the police to tell him that, but if he does start answering specific questions that have been referred to the police, he will be accused, in fact, fairly and rightly, of prejudicing or preempting or interfering in that investigation, which is why...
It's just fixed penalty notices.
Well, there's still the law. Look, you can't have it both ways, Kay. You can't say on the one hand the sanctions are not very high, and on the other hand it's a very serious issue.
Okay.
We take it very seriously. Those incidents have gone to the police.
In which case...
They need to be allowed the time to investigate.
In which case, it's very serious, as you said in your own words, so he should step down if he's found guilty of any of those offences.
And let's wait and see what the...
You just said it's... You can't have it both ways Deputy Prime Minister.
I'm not. I'm having it one way, which is allow the police to conduct their investigation and see, when they've ascertained the facts, quite what they conclude. And, of course, there'll be full transparency around that. And, look, I get your frustration, the public's frustration. No one is more frustrated...
Not mine. I'm asking these questions on behalf of the public.
I think it's fair,
morning.
and I think the public... But I think we want this done and dusted as soon as possible as well.
OK, well, this is what the former Prime Minister said.
What the Gray report does show is that number 10 Downing Street was not observing the regulations they had imposed on members of the public. So either my right honourable friend had not read the rules, or didn't understand what they meant, and others around him, or they didn't think the rules applied to number 10. Which was it?
I don't think actually that's quite right in terms of what the Sue Gray report did. It said that they hadn't lived up to the standards that would have been expected. But in relation to specific breaches, Sue Gray...
It's a failure of leadership, actually, is what he said.
Yes, but which is not quite what Theresa said. But in relation to the 12 specific instances where there are alleged breaches, those have gone to the police, and it's quite right to wait for them to conduct that investigation.
Did you believe in the lockdown that you and your colleagues championed?
Yes, I did. And
Do you think the Prime Minister did?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why are the police investigating 12 separate incidents that took part in Downing Street?
Because if there's any... Precisely because...
That's a lot, though, isn't it?
Sorry, let me answer the question. Precisely because it's important, precisely because I get the argument about double standards. Where there have been allegations, claims, assertions that rules have been broken, it is absolutely right that, first of all, it was referred to Sue Gray, and Sue Gray has now, if there's any potential breach of the law, referred it to the police, and they should look at it. And we've been very clear there'll be transparency and accountability that will follow that.
The police have said that they will interview people that were at these events, and we know that the Prime Minister was at least 3 of them.
You're trying to jump ahead of the investigation. I will allow them...
Which bit of that's not true?
Well, look, I'm going to, as I've said throughout, allow
We know he was
police...
at least 3 events, don't we? And the police have said that they will investigate anybody or speak to anybody that was at those events. The sitting Prime Minister and his wife being interviewed by the police.
But that hasn't happened yet, Kay. Nearly called you Sue.
I know you did. I know you did.
But look,
we're both formidable.
It's true. But look, the police will conduct that investigation. I'm not going to start commenting about interviews that haven't taken place.
But the police have already commented. They've already said that they're going to investigate people that were at the parties, and we know that the Prime Minister was at least 3. Ergo, they're going to interview the Prime Minister.
I think there's a lot hanging on your ergo, but the reality is the police will conduct that investigation.